We inherited a 22 billion black hole. Tomorrow marks 13 years since 6 young British soldiers were on patrol in Afghanistan when their vehicle was struck by an explosive, tragically killing them all. Sergeant Nigel Coop was 33. Corporal Jake Hartley was 20. Private Anthony Frampton was 20. Private Daniel Wade was 20. Private Daniel Wilford was 21. And Private Christopher Kershaw was just 19, a teenager. Tomorrow also marks the 18th anniversary of the death of Benjamin Reddy, killed in Helmand Provost in 2007. These men fought and died for their country, our country. And I know the whole House will join in me in remembering them and all those who serve our country.
Yeah. But can he outline for my constituents in Southampton Test how our employment rights bill will not only deliver improvements for them, put more money in their pockets as part of our plan?
She's doing a fantastic job for her constituents. The Employment Rights Bill is the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation. It will tackle low pay, poor conditions and poor job security that hold our country back.
Divisions between Ukraine and the US only serve Vladimir Putin. What is the Prime Minister doing to help rebuild their relationship after a challenging week?
Well, she's absolutely right that we need to do everything we can to ensure that the US, Europe and Ukraine are working together on lasting peace. And I'm doing everything I can to play my part in that, in regular contact with all of the key players at the moment, including talking to President Zelensky yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Prime Minister for that answer. All of us in this House know that the British Armed Forces are a huge source of pride to our country. They put themselves in harm's way to defend our values, but we cannot write a blank cheque. If British peacekeeping troops in Ukraine were attacked, we could be drawn into conflict with Russia. Can the Prime Minister reassure all those who are concerned?
That's the last thing anybody wants to see. The way to ensure we have peace is to ensure there are guarantees for any deal that is in place.
The objective for his visit to Washington was to get that US security guarantee for Ukraine. Can he update the House on the steps he is taking to persuade America that it is also in their national interest to provide a security guarantee?
The President made absolutely clear his commitment to Article 5 of NATO, absolutely clear that he would have our backs because of the relationship between our parties, because it is vitally important that we work with the US, with Europe and Ukraine and make sure that if there is a deal, it has proper security guarantees in place.
I know the Prime Minister is not able to comment on specific intelligent matters, and I'm certainly not asking him to do that. However, there are concerning reports that the United States has instructed Britain to suspend intelligence sharing with Ukraine. We need to make sure America does not disengage. There are some in this House who argue Europe should go it alone. Any peace agreement would place a terrible burden on Britain and our taxpayers.
We need to ensure that the US, the UK, Europe and Ukraine are working together, but we must not choose between the US and Europe.
It is not just the security situation that worries people. They are also concerned about trade wars and the economic impact of tariffs, like those levelled on Canada and Mexico yesterday.
We were doing so well.
The best way to avoid America putting tariffs on Britain is to reach agreement on a US trade deal. Have talks on a UK-US trade deal begun?
Well, I was pleased in the meeting I had last week that we did discuss an economic deal.
I'm glad the Prime Minister has confirmed that those talks have started. People across our country are worried. They're worried about national security. They're worried about whether we can equip our military fast enough. They are worried about whether we will deploy troops in Ukraine and whether we will be able to keep the peace. They are also worried about our economic security. Can we afford all this? The budget last year halted growth with higher taxes and higher borrowing. Yesterday, farmers were protesting in Whitehall again. People are hurting. Will he now change course so we can have the economic security we know we need for our national security?
We were doing so well. What we inherited was insecurity in our economy. We inherited a 22 billion black hole, and we have now turned that around. We've got the highest investment coming into our economy. We've got wages higher than prices, got 3 times interest rates have been cut. That's the difference between stability with Labour and instability with the party opposite.
Turning to the new sentencing guidelines that's been published alongside this statement, which will make a custodial sentence less likely for, and I quote, ethnic minorities, cultural minorities, and faith minority communities.
We were doing so well.
Why is the Justice Secretary enshrining this double standard, this two-tier approach to sentencing?
We inherited a 22 billion black hole.
This is an inversion of the rule of law. We on this side of the House believe in equality under the law.
To go further, and obviously I'll update the House if that's possible.